Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the gun guy. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I really deeply appreciate it. Today I'm doing a review on a scope that was sent to me by OpticsPlanet. I was looking for a scope for a deer rifle, and they were kind enough to send me this Redfield Revolution scope that I mounted on this little 742. Now, you're going to mount a scope, the first thing you got to go do is get the darn thing sighted in. So that's what we did. We came out here to the Rainbow Range in Rainbow, California. They were kind enough to let me shoot today. And it's a terrific range if you haven't been here already. But before we get into the details of getting the scope set up and sighted in and how easy that was, let me tell you a little bit about the scope first. This scope is a Redfield Revolution, and it's a variable power scope that goes from 2x to 7x. Now, I discovered pretty quickly that the adjustment on the scope is very smooth when you're changing magnification. In fact, I was seriously impressed with that part of the scope. Also, I really liked the way that the scope is adjusted as far as windage and elevation, because the first thing we had to do was get the scope on paper. So we bore sighted it with a little laser bore sighter, and then once we got it on paper, we started shooting. Like I said, we thought, because when we started shooting, the first thing we discovered was that the scope mount wasn't tightened down, so the scope was wiggling all over the place. So we put a few rounds on the target, and that's why you see the tape on there. It's not because we stole an old target or whatever. We just shot a few rounds and realized we had a problem. We had to reattach the scope and mount it again, and this time do it right. And away we went, and we started shooting all over again to get it all sighted in. So it worked out in the end, but we had the little problem in the beginning. Now, we fired the first round, and you can tell that it was a little bit off. It was high. And then the second round, because I didn't have a way to lock the rifle down too terribly firmly, was a little bit off there. And then the third round got us right there in the bullseye area, and we just had to refine it a little bit from there. So it was very easy to adjust this scope and get it on target. Basically, we had it pretty much on target and dialed in 3 rounds. At that point, it was shooting a little bit high, and then a little bit of more effort, we got it pretty much where it needed to be, and got it on target pretty well. Now, one of the things I liked about this scope is it came with 2 possible reticles. I could choose one or the other, and I really liked the concept of the AccuRange reticle because it gave me some indicators inside the reticle when it came to different ranges. And the rifle I've set this up on is a 308, so it gives you different groups when you start looking at how to set the scope up. And with a 308, I sighted it in at 200 yards, and that gives me real clear indicators for 300, 400, and 500 yards, all the way out to 500 yards, without having to make any adjustments in the scope. And that's what I liked about it, because the reticle is very clear and easy to see. And I really like the fact that I can reach out a little farther and hopefully shoot accurately at those distances. Now, once we got it on target, of course, it's always the limitations of the rifle. The rifle is, 742 is a deer rifle, basically, and it's not known for being, a nail driver out at long distances. So I thought it shot pretty well as you look at this little group we had. I mean, 2 of them went pretty much right next to each other, and I keyholed 2. And then you have the other 2 outliers when we finally shot a 4-round group. One of the other things I liked about the scope is its clarity. It is extremely clear for a scope of this price range. I was very impressed with the glass and the clarity around the edges. So as we're looking around the edges of the image, so I'm looking through the scope, that was clear and the color was bright all the way through. I know it's a little hard to see that with the camera angle there, but it's really easy to see when your eye is behind the scope. We did our best to get close to it for you with the camera. Now, the other thing that was interesting to me, and I really liked, was the adjustment knobs, because so many scopes I've had, you got to have a screwdriver, or you got to have a coin or something to adjust them. These are not that way. You just take off the cap, and away you go. You can adjust them. They're click adjustable. Now, this is the one thing about the scope that I found not as nice as it could have been, and that is that the click adjustment is not as sharp. When you're adjusting something that's click adjustable, you want each click to be very sharp and very clean, and I found that they're not as sharp and clean as I want them to be. Some of the clicks were really sharp and clean, some of them were a little mushy, and so that is one thing I think they could probably improve where they're working on, when you're trying to build a real nice scope. But other than that, honestly, adjusting the scope and getting it on target was very, very easy, and I found it to be a joy to shoot in that regard. So there's the Redfield Revolution. Terrific scope. I'm very happy with it. I'm sure you would be too. Sent to me by OpticsPlanet, and if you would like to get one, we've put some links in the description for you so you can check them out on OpticsPlanet. And if you would like to save some money in your purchase, not just for this particular scope, but for all of your purchases at OpticsPlanet, we've got a promo code for you to do that, and you'll find a link specifically to do that in the description. So you'll be able to save yourself some money no matter what you're buying, and you can certainly go out and check these Redfield scopes out. They're really actually terrific scopes and priced very, very well. I'm very impressed. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my videos on my channel. I really deeply appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. That way we'll let you know when we're doing new videos and when the new ones come out. We've got a bunch of them we've already done, about 100 of them, and we try to do about 2 a week. As long as there's time, we at least get 1 in, but we try to get 2, maybe 3 a weekend, so look for those. And if you subscribe, we'll let you know when they come out. I've also got some links over here for Facebook, Twitter, and our blog where I write articles periodically, so you might want to check those things out too. And if you happen to have a gun at home and you keep it for self-defense and you ever think you might use it, or you carry a gun every day like I do, you might want some legal backup if you ever have to use it. That's why I use a service called Second Call Defense. It'll provide money to bail me out of jail and provide money to defend me in court if I'm sued or prosecuted. Really great service. I've checked out all of them, and it's the best one I've been able to find. So I've got a link right here and in the description for you to be able to check them out if you'd like. I urge you to do so. It's a service I use for my family, and that's why I suggest it for yours. Also, if you like gun videos and you're not a member of the NRA, you need to be. So I've got a link here for you to join the NRA, and I've also got it in the description. It'll take you to a spot where you can join the NRA for less than the cost of a box of ammunition for the year. The NRA deeply needs your help to be able to fight for our Second Amendment rights across the nation. Unless you live in a cave, you know our Second Amendment rights are under attack constantly. So please join the NRA. That's what I've got the link there for you. And I've got you a deal. It'll save you a little bit of money if you join through this link. Thank you again for watching my channel. Have a wonderful week, and please be safe.